Good evening and welcome to Week 10 of Football Friday Night. I'm Dave Siseski. He's Tony Quach. Dylan Tyson will join us later in the show. Tony, plenty of league titles. We're still up for grabs tonight.
You're absolutely right, Dave. And speaking of titles, the champ is here, and let me talk to you. League champions were crowned tonight, but we'll start things off here in Allen County. After defeating Scott last week, the Lima Senior Spartans have a chance to win the Toledo City League crown outright against the Spartans.
It's been 49 days since Lima Seniors last lost. They've rattled off 6 consecutive wins. Lucky number 7 could spell a Toledo City League title. However, in their way, the Spartans. No score, first quarter, and the defense showing up big. As Tavion James with the interception on 4th down, giving it to the offense. Ensuing drive, Janias Hall passes over to Caden Hampton, who makes a few moves, and he's down the sideline where he follows his blocks all the way down inside the 5-yard line. That would eventually take him down there, the defense would, but that would set up this play here. A 3-yard touchdown score to Xavier Garner, 8-0 Spartans after the 2-point. Next drive, same connection as Hall hits Garner for the long strike in the end zone. Spartans hold on to win 26-14 and win their first outright title since 1996. Well, 2023 has already been a success for the Perry Commodores, coming off a 1-9 season, looking for their 4th win on the campaign tonight against Ridgedale. Third quarter, Perry up 13-7 when Connor Lynch hits the 22-yard field goal. Commodores extend their lead 16-7, but 4th quarter, same score, Rockets driving. Braden Townsend with a 17-yard strike to Landon Murphy in the corner of the end zone. Ridgedale cuts the lead to 3. Late 4th, Rockets driving once again when Wayne Fleming takes it down the sideline and all the way down to the 1-yard line. That play is going to set up a touchdown run from Murphy, who cuts it up the middle, makes it 19-16, and that's your finals. The Rockets complete the comeback. A few more scores to get to in the NWCC. USV wins big, 52-20 on the road against North Baltimore. Waynesfield Goshen topples Ridgemont on the road with a 41-21 dub. Corey Rosson ends the regular season with a 33-6 victory against Crestline. To Harmon Field, where the WBL crown was on the line with a win. Salina clinches the outright title for the first time since '95. Wapakoneta looking to clinch a share for the 3rd straight year. Beginning of the second half, Wapak leads 23-3 when Salina's Braylon Gabes weaving in and out of the Redskin defense for a gain of 18 and a first down the hard way for the Bulldogs. But later in that drive, pass is going to be deflected into the air and into the hands of Wapak's Bryson Pack for the interception and the touchback defense, standing strong all night. Late second half, Wapak with the exclamation point. Jace Nouse from 4 yards out for the score. Wapak wins 30-3 and get a share of the WBL title and for the 3rd straight year and clinch on a home playoff game next week.
The St. Mary's Rough Riders put their 5-game winning streak on the line against the Bath Wildcats. Bath, on the other hand, is looking to end their 3-game losing streak and end the regular season with a dub. We pick things up in the 2nd quarter. St. Mary's leads by 3. Zach Welch's pass finds Mikey Hale, and a sophomore moves the chains for the Wildcats. That's a gain of 14 on the play, but that drive would stall out. Later in the half, Cohen Mabry takes the handoff, and he takes off from there. That's going to be a gain of 30 yards for the Rough Riders. And with 12 seconds left before halftime, that's all St. Mary's needs. 7 yards to the end zone, and Cody Wallace is making it happen. St. Mary's goes on to win 31-0. After picking up their first win of the season, the Titans look to make it back-to-back dubs to end 2023. But to do that, they have to go through a 6-3 Defiance Bulldog squad. In the first quarter, Brez Zipfel hands it off to Brogan Castillo, and he picks up the first down and more. That'll move the chains for the Bulldogs. Later in the drive, Zipfel hands it off to Noah Gomez, and the junior connection results in the 6. Defiance takes a 7-0 lead. To the second, OG is attempting to crack the scoreboard, and this pass by Payne Kuhlman finds Grant Schrader, and just like that, the Titans tied things up at 7. But the Dogs aren't letting up. Off the kickoff, the Bulldogs looking to field, and it's Abel Rubio who scoops it up. He's going to evade the OG defense, and the junior takes it into Titans territory. Defiance goes on to win this one, 14-10. And now we turn things over to Dylan Tyson for the rest of the WBL action.
Thanks, Tony. While it hasn't quite been the year that the Van Wert Cougars hoped for, they have rattled off 3 straight wins after starting the year 3-3. And though they're out of the league title race, the 3-peat regional finalists can still get a home playoff game if they win tonight. But the Elida Bulldogs, despite some injuries, are already above 500 for the first time since 2020. Prime position to get their first win over Van Wert since 2017. First quarter winds up scoreless, but here comes Elida in the second. Isaac Earl dishes over to Amari Wash on the screen, and the breakout sophomore has speed up the sidelines, 43 yards to the house, and the Bulldogs are on the board first, 7-0. But Van Wert will eat up the clock with 14 plays for 65 yards. That's 4.5 yards per play, but it's enough for Brylan Parker to find Keldon Bill and tie up this ballgame 7-7. Cougars get it back with 30 seconds left in the half, which means Parker will take a deep shot, and 50 yards downfield is Reese Crew right in the bucket. He steps out at the 5-yard line, but very next play, Parker looking for a man, and he'll keep it to himself to put Van Wert up as the half expires, diving at the pylon. Cougars clinch a 35-14 win to clinch a home playoff game next week. Elida's season will continue, but on the road. And closing out the final night of WBL action, Kenton defeats Shawnee for the first time since 2020, 28-14. Wildcats finish the year tied at 7th, and unfortunately for the Indians, they close out a winless campaign. In the MAC tonight, it's one of Ohio's most iconic rivalries, Marion Local and Coldwater. And well, once again, both teams meet with a championship on the line. Plus, the NWC crown is up for grabs between Bluffton and Columbus Grove. Stay tuned for that and more.
Welcome back. Well, in the words of T.O., get your popcorn ready as the 9-0 Marion Local Flyers hosts the 9-0 Coldwater Cavaliers in a MAC main event. Coldwater trying to avenge last season's 35-0 loss to the Flyers. In fact, their last win in the series came back in 2018 in a 26-20 double OT thriller. Tonight, these two Giants clash once again in our Football Friday Night Spotlight game.
Tonight's Football Friday Night Spotlight game is brought to you by Citizens National Bank.
Over to Booster Stadium where the Flyers are soaring, looking to clinch their 8th consecutive conference crown. Cavaliers trying to win their first outright title since 2015. Flyers up 14-7 in the third when Benton Seitz with a run up the gut for the score. Flyers extend their lead 21-7. Later in the quarter, Flyers again strike as Justin Knopf with the air raid over the Coldwater defense as he finds Andrew Pullman for the touchdown, 28-7 Marion Local. And then in the fourth, Marion Local with the final stamp on this one as Knopf goes to the air again, finding Kyle Oddie for the touchdown. Flyers win 35-14 and clinch their 8th consecutive MAC title as the #1 seed in Region 28.
We take the action over to Cardinal Stadium. New Bremen welcomes in St. John's. The Cardinals are attempting to snap their 3-game losing streak, while the Jays look to even up their record at 500. In the first half, St. John's coming up huge on defense as Braylon Metzger intercepts this Cardinals pass. But moments later, the Cardinals showing that they can get it done on the defensive end too, as Grant Dickey comes up with an INT of his own. This Cardinal takes it as far as the 35-yard line. But the Blue Jays would strike first, as Drew Box finds Hank Walpole for the score, but they would fall to New Bremen, 14-7. The Anna Rockets defeated the Parkway Panthers 40-6 on the road. St. Henry takes down Fort Recovery in an overtime thriller. 28-27 is their final. And our last score from the MAC, Cesar Versailles clawing their way to a 21-14 dub against Minster. The outright NWC championship was on the line tonight as Bluffton battles Columbus Grove. Bluffton is seeking their first outright league title since 2004, while Grove is eyeing their 5th NWC crown in 6 seasons. CG leads 7-0 in the third, and the Bulldogs are on the attack as Landon Blankenmeyer takes down the Bluffton QB for a loss. Grove would get the ball back after the Pirates turn it over on downs. To the fourth, Garrett Bogart fakes the handoff, and he fooled us too. His pass finds Hayden Dirth, and the senior slides in for the touchdown. Bluffton ties the game up at 7. The CG would respond back. Landon Best doing what he does best. His pass connects with Zach Reynolds, and the senior sets up the Dogs in the red zone. And later in the drive, Trenton Barraza punches it in for the score. That's the game winner. Columbus Grove takes this one, 14-7. They win their league-tying 16th NWC championship.
In Spencerville, the Bearcats host 0-9 Jefferson, the Wildcats' last chance to avoid their first 0-10 season since 2005. While Spencerville looks to secure a playoff berth tonight, but they trail 14-18 after halftime. You heard me right. And Bearcats ball to start the half, but on 4th down, they get stuffed by the D-line, and what a way to open the half for Delphus Jefferson. Because on their 3rd offensive play, Dean Trentman breaks loose. 46 yards for the score, and oh yeah, he's a freshman. Blink it, you'll miss it. Wildcats lead by 10. But on Jefferson's next possession, the Bearcats defense steps up. It's Nate Coulter, the 6'3 senior with the pick. He brings it back to the 41-yard line. And on the very next snap, Grady Smith with the quick release over the middle connects with Will Sensabaugh. Another freshman makes the reel tonight, guys. Jefferson needs a stop, and on 4th and 2, Carter Agner bats down the Spencerville pass, and the receiver brought down short of the line. The Wildcats have a win to call their own, 31-28, and the student section absolutely eating it up. Let's wrap up tonight's NWC highlights as Lipsick travels to Crestview with the victor of tonight's game, finishing in 3rd place in the NWC. Since entering the conference in 2021 for Lipsick, they've won both their conference games against the Crestview Knights. First quarter of this one, Knights lose track of Vikings senior running back Quinn Schrader, and he's off to the races, nearly going untouched all the way to the house for the score. Lipsick takes a commanding 2-score lead early on in this one. Ensuing drive then, running back Esteban Carrillo takes his turn, going the distance. Back-to-back plays, the Knights give up scoring plays on the ground. Vikings rolling to a 3-touchdown advantage. Late second quarter now, Schrader finds the end zone yet again on a keeper that extends the Vikings lead going into the half, up 35-14. And while despite the Knights' efforts, they fall on senior night. The Vikings sail to victory 49-28 and continue their unbeaten streak against the Crestview Knights. The last of this year's NWC play came between Allen East and Ada. Mustangs get win number 4 on the year, 49-7. That's good for 5th place in the NWC, and the Mustangs get a road playoff game next week. Ada, on the other hand, finishes in 7th, won't go to the postseason this year. Still a few more league champions to crown tonight. We make our rounds to the Northern Lakes League, the Blanchard Valley Conference, and the Green Meadows Conference after our final break on Football Friday night.
Welcome back. The Findlay Trojans are eyeing their 8th win of the season. Tonight, they take on the Northview Wildcats. The Trojans have won 7 of their last 8 games. During that span, Findlay has averaged nearly 42 points per game. Findlay's defense is coming out hot as Ashton Yeager and Jacob Vance meet at the QB, and they come up huge with the sack. Trojans get the ball back. Ryan Montgomery rolling to his right, and he finds Austin Hasselback, and he makes a nice move and takes it deep into Wildcat territory. And a few plays later, Montgomery finishes it off. He finds Jacob Ragland for the score. Findlay wins 48-0, and they clinch a share of the Northern Lakes League title.
On to the BBC, Macomb taking on Liberty Benton. Eagles looking for their outright title. Panthers looking to clinch a share. In the last 15 years, this series nearly even. Eagles with the 8-7 advantage. Liberty Benton up 6-0. Get a huge play from the special team. Seth Elkert on the punt return. Bounces it to the outside. Finds some space down the sideline. Finally brought down inside the 10-yard line. Eagles in great position. They would turn that into some points here later in the drive. Mason Mott, the little jump pass hits Miles Bailey for the 9-yard score. Eagles up 14-0. And they weren't done. Next drive, Mott keeps it himself, finds a hole up the middle, then turns on the Jets, cuts it to the outside, takes it all the way for the score. LB wins the BBC outright with a 44-22 win. A couple more scores in the BBC is Riverdale with a 28-14 win over Arcadia, and Pandora Gilboa with a dominant 48-6 dub over Elmwood.
And how about some Green Meadows Conference action? Antwerp in a 3-way tie for first coming into tonight just need the win over Edgerton for their 2nd straight title. Archers with the ball in the first quarter. No score, 3rd and long. Carson Ultimus finds Landon Brewer along the far sideline. That's going to be a first down. Later in the drive, the Ultimus-Brewer connection was at work again. Ultimus hits Brewer in stride, who sends a defender flying with a juke, and he's in for the score. It's 8-0 Antwerp after the 2-point conversion. But it's all Antwerp from there as Zach Salas punches in a score. Archers roll into the playoffs as GMC champs. 38-16 the final. As for the rest of the GMC, Fairview comes up just short to Ayersville, 36-28. Ayersville also with a share of the GMC conference title. And Tenora wins the other third of the GMC as they take care of Hicksville, 35-0 at home. Lastly, Paulby just edges out Wayne Trace on the road, winning 14-13 in a nail-biting matchup, wrapping up tonight's action in the GMC.
Checking out the rest of the high school scores, Arlington falls on the road against Lucas 30-0. Patrick Henry ends the regular season with a huge win, 40-7 against Swanton. Indian Lake wins 15-13 against North Union tonight, while Benjamin Logan falls 31-8 in their regular season finale.
And that's how we wrap up our 10th edition of Football Friday Night. Thank you to everyone who helps put this show together. and helps us put it on the air. What an action-packed regular season, guys, it was.
What a season. And we have more coming our way, right, Dylan?
Yeah, now I know, Tony, you said that, we're going to have the full list of playoff qualifiers and matchups come Sunday. There were a couple teams that still hadn't clinched coming in tonight in Allen County. Bath, they managed to get it done despite the loss. They'll be a 14, 15, or 16 seed.
Wow.
Spencerville with 75% chance right now, still waiting for things to settle in that region.
And let's not forget, LCC is also competing against Fort Loramie tomorrow, so who knows, huge playoff stakes are on the line. But before we forget, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more local sports action. But before we end the night, we just want to take a moment and extend our thoughts and prayers to the Liberty Bend community in regards to the unfortunate passing of one of their very own, Andrew Walker. The WIO Sports Department is and always will be thankful to Andrew for his updates. Andrew, the show is for you. Have a good night, everyone.